The speaker said, I entirely object to the proposal. I object to it as founded on a wrong principle, and I object to it as highly inconvenient at this time. Have you considered all that this proposal involves? Gentlemen, I entreat you to be cautious. The speaker declared that he entirely objected to the proposal. He objected to it as founded on a wrong principle and as highly inconvenient at that time. He questioned me that they had considered all that the proposal involved. He entreated them to be cautious. Kausalya said to Rama, do not desire, O my child, to possess the moon, because it is thousands of miles off, and it is not a plaything for children, and no child ever got it. If you wish, I will bring some jewels that are brighter than the moon, and you can play with them. Kausalya forbade her child Rama to desire to possess the moon, because it was thousands of miles off, and it was not a plaything for children, and no child had ever got it. If he wished, she would bring some jewels that were brighter than the moon, and he could play with them. The hen bird was just about to lay, and she said to her mate, cannot you find me some place convenient for laying my eggs? And is not this, he replied, a very good place for the purpose? No, she answered, for it is continually overflowed by the tide. Am I then become so feeble, he exclaimed, that the eggs laid in my house are to be carried away by the sea? The hen bird laughed and said, there is some considerable difference between you and the sea. The hen bird was just about to lay, and she asked her mate whether he could find her some place convenient for laying her eggs. He asked whether that was not a very good place for the purpose. She answered that it was not, for it was continually overflow by the tide. Then he asked in emotion whether he had become so feeble that the eggs laid in his house were to be carried away by the sea. The hen bird laughed and said that there was some considerable difference between him and the sea. A cat, hearing that a hen was laid up sick in her nest, paid her a visit of condolence, and creeping up to her, said, how are you, my dear friend? What can I do for you? What are you in want of? Only tell me. Is there anything in the world that I can bring you? Keep up your spirits and do not be alarmed. Thank you, said the hen. Do you be good enough to leave me, and I have no fear, but I shall soon be well. A cat, hearing that the hen was laid up sick in her nest, paid her a visit of condolence, and creeping up to her, asked how she was, what he could do for her, and what she was in want of. He asked her to tell him whether there was anything in the world that he could bring her. He advised her to keep us her spirits and not to be alarmed. The hen thanked him and asked him to be good enough to leave her. She told him that she had no fear, but she would soon be well. Sweet child, he answered, do not fret, for I can make you happier than ever you have could be on the earth. I will give you beautiful things to play with, which a queen would envy. Rubies and diamonds shall be your toys, and your plates shall be of solid gold. All the beautiful things you see belong to me, for I am king of this rich underworld. But she only replied, I was happy playing with the pebbles on the seashore, and I care only for the sparkle of the little waves on the shining sand. Here there are no flowers, no sun, and she wept anew. He asked the child not to fret, for he could make her happier there than ever she could have been on the earth. He would give her beautiful things to play with, which a queen would envy. He promised that rubies and diamonds would be her toys, and her plates would be of solid gold. All the beautiful things she saw belonged to him, for he was the king of that rich underworld. But she only replied that she had been happy playing with the pebbles on the seashore, and she cared only for the sparkle of the little waves on the shining sand, saying that there were no flowers, no sun there. She wept anew. तो ये थी आपकी एक्सरसाइज, काफी लेंदी एक्सरसाइज थी. आपको अच्छी लगी, समझ में आई, सब्सक्राइब करिए आसा एजुकेशन. मिलते हैं अगली एक्सरसाइज में.